Y'all, thank y'all so much for joining. Again, my name's Thomas Joyner. I'm the director of coaching here at Business on Purpose. And so just thank you for making time to invest in yourself and in your business. You've invested the one resource you can't get back. That's your time. So let's make a decision. Let's honor that investment. Turn your phones over, right? Cut them on silent. Let's maximize the window. And that way we can make the most out of this time. We don't want anything distracting you. And also, just so y'all know, I was talking about this a minute ago. One of our core values is write it down. I'd love to see you actually taking physical written notes. Grab a pen, a little sheet of paper. We're going to do some stuff a little bit later. It'll help you not lose focus. It'll help you stay dialed in. And that way you're not looking at your little inbox blinking at the top of the screen saying, hey, answer me, email. No, get rid of the distractions for a little bit and let's dial it on in. So before we get started, I want to tell you a little bit about me and about Business on Purpose. So this is my crew right here. This is my wife of 10 years, Rebecca. My oldest son, T, is 4.5. Nan is 3. And Robbie, strapped on right there, is 8 months old. So life's a little wild for us right now. Never know what each day is going to hold, but it's entertaining, it's exciting, it's fun, and we love it. So I've been a coach with Business on Purpose for about 3 years now, work with about 15 businesses in a one-on-one capacity. And then we as a team, kind of at large, have worked with over 500 businesses over the 7 years that we've been around. We love what we get to do, and that is liberating small business owners from chaos. And that starts with meetings, exactly what we're going to talk about today. So let's just go ahead and tackle the elephant in the room right from the start. Most meetings really do suck. And maybe that's not the most professional term in the world, right? But if we were to survey your employees and ask your teams about your weekly meetings, maybe if you even have one, I would imagine that they would use that word because most team meetings are the worst, but they don't have to be. Most meetings are just an agendaless rant by multiple people looking to hit some kind of verbal home run in hopes of feeling like the time set aside has some value in the short term. And in fact, we surveyed over 50 businesses, and we found out that on average, here were the top 3 most frustrating things about their team meetings. Number 1, they lacked any kind of predictability. It just felt for them that every meeting really lacked direction or any sense that it had been prepared for. And it went all over the place. You know, some weeks last 30 minutes, other weeks lasted hours, no predictability, and teams didn't know what to expect. Second thing, there was no follow-up and no follow-through. Now, I know I'm hitting a little too close to home, right? But employees actually wanted their bosses to follow up. We spoke about this at our meeting. Why is it that we're just hearing about it now, right? No, we need to follow up and follow through on everything that we discuss at our team meetings. And then third thing, we don't have the training, right? We don't have the training on our processes to back up what we're being asked to do in these meetings. Yes, we here at Business on Purpose, we eat processes for breakfast. We love them. But this hits home on the team not feeling equipped to do what they're being asked to do. That's a big deal and something that deserves your attention today. So we know that most team meetings are brutal, but here's the good news. Like I said, they don't have to be brutal. We're going to buy back the good old-fashioned team meeting and show you where it's restored confidence, clarity, camaraderie, you name it, within organizations across the world. From hospitals in Nigeria to architecture firms in Croatia, concrete contractor firms in the United States. And here's our promise. If you follow the template we're about to provide for you and adapt it to your culture, right? To adapt it to your business and sustain it over time, we promise you your organization will not have a choice but to push towards the vision that you've drawn out. Hope that is okay with everybody. That's what we're going to build out today, and we're excited. So let's get started. All right, first thing I want to talk about, if I told you a story about a husband and a wife who are too busy doing their own thing, that they rarely sit down together and talk about their marriage or life or work or any other important family issues. They're just going and going and going, and they rarely actually do what the other person is asking of them. Is that a couple that you would like to model your own life after? And I know I say that in jest a little bit, right? But is there any confidence that that relationship will grow and thrive? No, absolutely not. It's no different with an organization. If you don't have regular meetings and communication, then the vision has nowhere to go for implementation. And so what we're about to lay out for you has been used in thousands of meetings over the last 3 years with all the businesses that we work with and adapted in many ways with some powerful results in terms of teams finally getting on the same page. And there's one ingredient in all of this, and it's not magical. It's actually available to anyone. And we'll come back to this at the end of the training and talk through that a little bit more. But first, we as organizational leaders need to be leading meetings that are on purpose, 100% on purpose. But how? Well, a meeting that is on purpose should actually have 5 marks to it. And I'm going to roll through these pretty quick, but it should have a defined agenda. Okay. Here's a picture of the agenda that we use for our team meetings, right? It should have a quick touch on mission and values. It should talk about big wins, right? Starting the meetings with positives. It should have accountability for the last meeting's action items. It should have business discussion. It should have action items for next week and then training at the end of all of it. Second thing it needs to have, on top of having a defined agenda, it should have a defined leader. And you don't always have to be that leader. In fact, allowing other people to lead the teams from time to time, or maybe sections of the meeting, is a huge bonus. Delegating that authority to your team to start thinking critically through, what do we need to be talking about in our team meetings? It's powerful. Third thing, have a defined participant. Little tip, if they don't need to be there, do not invite them. Let them get on with their work. There's nothing worse than sitting in a meeting for 30 minutes or an hour or 2 hours and saying, why am I a part of this meeting? I don't need to be here. No, have a defined participant. Make sure that everybody's in there that needs to be in there. And then the rest of them, let them go about their job. Number 4, have a determined cost of the meeting in order to appreciate the time more. So if you need a little meeting cost calculator, right, to think through, all right, what does this meeting actually cost us? We've got one of those. We'd be happy to send it your way to think through, all right, salaries, think through the time, think about the sales we could be making. All that factors into the actual cost of your meeting. And so have a determined cost, because when you actually look at the cost of the business, it makes you want to prepare for it more. It makes you want to make the meeting really, really count. So have a determined cost. And then number 5, create an atmosphere of predictability, which will help root out the dreaded micromanager. And so I'm going to sit here for just a second and talk about micromanagement for a sec. So we have a thing that we like to call the seesaw of predictability. A predictable question asked at an unpredictable time is what employees come to find and feel as micromanagement. A predictable question asked at an unpredictable time means micromanagement. And let me explain that to you. If I asked for next year's forecast without any heads up or preparation of the employee beforehand, if I asked for that during our staff Christmas party, it feels like micromanagement. Why are they asking me for these numbers at the Christmas party? Do they not think that I can get it done? Do they not think I know them? No. But had I given them a heads up that we would be looking at it, it would feel fine. It wouldn't feel like micromanagement because it's predictable. Second part of that, an unpredictable question asked at a predictable time feels like micromanagement. If I ask for the team's vacation calendar for the year at our weekly meeting, right? It's an unpredictable question, right? It's not planned, but it is at a predictable time. That would feel like micromanagement. Feels like you're just throwing stuff around. No, but predictable questions asked at predictable times, like your regularly scheduled meetings, are what make for a powerfully healthy management setup. So those are the 5 items that every purpose-centered meeting should include: a defined agenda, a defined leader, defined participant, determined cost, and an atmosphere of predictability. So here's the 5 things that you should avoid in your meetings at all costs. It's pretty funny. Avoid technology distractions. Number 1, at all costs. One thing we've encouraged clients to do is create a device resort somewhere in the office, right? A box somewhere where you drop your phone in, maybe it's a laptop, whatever it is, anything that could distract you, and put it in there. We promise we'll pamper your devices. They'll be well taken care of, spa treatment, you name it. No, we're kidding, obviously. But no, just have your people put their stuff away so they're fully bought into what you guys are trying to do. Second thing, avoid an atmosphere of unpredictability. Just spend a lot of time talking about that. Don't drop these surprise bombs in your meeting. Don't wander all around. No, maybe even think about sending them the agenda a day ahead so they can know, wow, he's actually really, really ready for this meeting that we're having. And I can actually prepare for the things that I'm going to be asked about. It's powerful. 3, avoid cancellation. Create a recurring time in your calendar. Make sure that your team knows it's important. And communicate that this meeting is to be scheduled around, right? It's like a doctor's appointment. The communication of your team is dependent on this meeting. So don't miss it. Don't cancel it. the more you start to cancel it, the less people will learn to value it. 4, avoid getting off agenda, right? Create a good old-fashioned parking lot for any items of discussion that come up that they're off the agenda. Hey, we will get to this next time or at a future date. But especially if the business owner's in attendance, you'll need to forward any parking lot items to the next meeting or to a future time and just figure out when's the right time to talk about some of that stuff. And then 5, avoid being okay with the lack of implementation. Review and update an action item spreadsheet. We'll show you that here in a minute. And then ask, hey, what can I do to help you get this done, right? Make sure they know that implementation is key. We're not just talking about these for the heck of talking about it. So a quick reminder of what your starter agenda should look like. I touched on this a minute ago, but here's the agenda that we use. And I'm going to touch on it real fast. So a mission and values review. Your team should know your mission. They should know your core values. Just ask them, hey, how have you seen us live these out this week? Or maybe how have we missed the mark? It's powerful and it keeps the mission and the values in front of them all the time. Big wins, personal or professional, so the meeting doesn't just feel like business, right? There's nothing worse than coming in and being like, it's just going to be numbers and miserable. No, that's one of the favorite things about our team meetings for me. I get to hear what's going on behind the scenes with everybody and just celebrate life with them. Accountability for last meeting's action items. They want it and they need it. Don't miss it. Check in on the progress every single week. Business discussion. Whatever needs to be discussed that week. Is there anything new or ongoing that needs to be worked through? Can we get better at anything? Is there anything that kind of got dropped along the way this week or things we need to have our eyes on? Next step, action items for the next week. What will you follow up on next week and how can we work together on it? Who's responsible? And what are the details that need to be verbalized and written down? And then lastly, and I can't emphasize this one enough, some training time. Can you build or train on an internal process, right? Is there something we can put up and say, all right, between our sales and our operations, here's where the ball's getting dropped. Let's train our team on how we want it done so we can free them up to do things the right way. And, we get this all the time, right? Hey, Thomas, I feel like things slip through the cracks from a communication standpoint. It just kind of falls out throughout the week and we're just struggling with it. And, most of the time teams just need a simple tool or a simple piece of technology to track and hold accountable. Of course, you can feel free to use anything that you want, any technology that's available, the Trellos, the Asana, Basecamp, Wunderlist, Slack, all these great kind of communication tools, right? And the list goes on and on. But to be honest, those tools are simply as good as the team that's chosen to actually implement them. Let me say that again. The tools that you use are only as good as the team that has chosen to actually implement them. A lot of times it doesn't matter. And a lot of times many business owners spend more time trying to figure out the platform than they do actually implementing the tasks that are put inside of them. So we've made it super simple, and it's what our team used for years before moving to Slack. But those for years created a necessary habit of recording, implementing, and following up, all just kind of necessary things for building a culture of accountability. Follow up, follow up, follow up. And what's the solution that we used? A simple action items sheet. 4 columns, all built in Google Sheets for easy sharing. It's as simple as it gets. The first column is the item column, right? It's the actual task that needs to be accomplished and completed. Second column right there, the responsibility column. Who's the quarterback? Who's responsible for getting this accomplished? Third column, the notes section. Are there any details that are needed? Any other members on the team or anyone else working together on this? And we can put some stuff in the notes section to make sure it's done the right way. Again, it's nothing radical. It's simple. It's effective. It's trackable. But most importantly, it's clear. There can be zero possibility that things slip through the cracks if you write everything you need to on there. And most often, teams don't accomplish things because we're not clear. You want to say, well, why can't they just do it right and do it all the way? Well, most of the time it falls on us for failing to communicate what the right and all the way means, what that actually means to your team. All right, so that's it. Seriously, this simple spreadsheet, it's powerful, a public accountability tool for your team. And all you have to do is pull it up in front of the entire meeting when the agenda calls for it. And so everyone knows it's coming, right? There's predictability and everyone can provide a status update. Nothing fancy, just effective if you implement. That's really all there is structurally for a powerful team meeting that gets stuff done. And so what's the final missing piece? It's implementation. I talked about it already today, right? It's the way, and the simplest way for a powerful training process for you and your team is implementation. I'll take a half-baked plan with full implementation versus a perfect plan with half-baked implementation every day of the week. We quote Joe Calloway all the time because it's perfect. Vision, your vision, where you want to head as a business without implementation is hallucination, right? The only way to get to your vision is to implement along the way. So if you meet with your team on a regular basis to review what you've delegated while also delegating new tasks, it will work. If you don't, it won't work. I know for a fact it won't. And so here's the summary of what you need to get started. One, build out your weekly meeting agenda and action item sheet, right? Just build the agenda out. It communicates to your team that it's valuable. Number two, schedule your weekly meeting, time and day. Put it on everybody's calendar. It's non-negotiable. We're working our week around that time. Three, hold your initial meeting to explain the entire process, right? It's easy. Knock it out of the park. Show them what the standard is, and then start delegating some of it out. And then four, meet, act, repeat. Number five, run towards the vision, right? Rinse and repeat, run towards the vision. So, all right, guys, I'm going to stop there for just a second. All right. And I want, if you've got any questions real quick that you've got on your team meeting, we're going to open that up in just about 4 or 5 minutes for just some kind of open conversation. So we're going to put some of these templates that we use right here in the chat window, and then we're going to make sure to email those to you right here after the masterclass. So everything that we use for our team meetings, everything we use for our action sheets and all that stuff, you will have everything. You'll have the templates, and you can build it out. And I know I threw a lot at you today, right? About running your team meetings as you move into 2023. But if you're interested in taking this conversation offline to speak more specifically about what you're experiencing in your business and maybe how BOP can help liberate you from the chaos you're in, I want to invite you to schedule a call. In a 30-minute session, we can help you, one, identify where you want your business to go. Powerful. Two, expose the roadblocks that are frustrating you. Three, assess if your business is positioned to grow. And four, map out the steps towards your ultimate goal. We're going to charge $99 for this, and I'm confident it will be the best $100 you've invested in your business in a long time. The link to schedule the call is right here in the chat. You will get tons and tons of options there. And so please sign up for one of those. We really believe that it is, it's powerful, powerful stuff. You'll get exponential value during that session because ultimately clarity is what you need most headed into the 2023 business year. And so real quick, I want to ask you 3 serious questions. So I'm going to ask you to take out a trusty little piece of paper. If you don't have any paper in front of you, that's fine. Open a fresh digital note or a document of some sort. And I want you to write down the answers to these questions right now. But what has chaos cost you in the past? What has chaos cost you in the past? What toll has it taken on your personal life? I'm going to give you 10 to 15 seconds. Write the first thing down that came to your mind. But what has chaos cost you in the past? Give you just a second to think through that. Second question, what will chaos cost you in the future if not fixed? I had a client recently that they're like, man, it's so wild. I feel like I'm missing out on my kids' childhood because I'm so caught up. I'm missing things left and right and performances and games, and chaos is taking over. But what will chaos cost you in your business and at home in the future if not fixed? And then question number 3, if the chaos suddenly became easy, what would it mean for you and for the people you love? What would it mean for your reputation and your legacy, and what would you gain? So write down a few thoughts on those real quick. I'll say those 3 questions real quick one more time. What's chaos cost you in the past? What will it cost you in the future? And what would you gain if chaos suddenly became easy? Guys, you've made the time to think through this. And if you wrote this down on your computer, I want you to open up the option and just start dragging it over towards the trash. I don't want you to throw it away just yet. Just drag it over towards the trash. And if you wrote it down on a piece of paper, I want you to take it and crumple it up real quick. Because statistically, about 90% of you, as soon as we end this masterclass, are going to not do anything with the last 20 minutes that we just invested in you and you invested in yourself. You might as well delete the file or throw away the page. And it's the same thing with that book that you read, right? That was supposedly a game changer. And yet there it is, collecting dust on the shelf, and you haven't actually implemented any of it. Now, I'm a coach, right? So I'm going to coach you and push you to do something different right now. Look back at that page that's crumpled in your hand. Open it back up. What has chaos cost you? Is it too many midnight rides of bidding and estimating until you're cross-eyed and blue in the face? Is it a loss of passion for what you do? Is it your marriage and relationships with your kids? Maybe it's confidence or money or sanity, loss of sales and momentum, opportunities for larger jobs, years of wishing and never doing. What's possible if chaos becomes easier? Maybe you could finally trust someone else to estimate and free you up to focus on what you bring to the business and your unique value. Maybe you could enjoy the craft of construction again and rekindle the love I had for my spouse. Maybe finally be present when you're at the ball field, or actually make it to the ball field to watch your kids. Have confidence even in a down market. Finally have some available cash to spend on things that you love, not be so cranky all the time. Grow a business that allows growth for the team. Finally land a job in that neighborhood you always thought was just a little bit out of your league, maybe a little out of your reach as a business. Maybe just not feel like you're wasting your years at your work. Well, hey, here's the beautiful thing. We help you solve the chaos problem. We work with businesses with 2 to 50 employees, right? That's our sweet spot. We help them build systems and process and purpose customized specifically to your business, leveraging our proven BOP roadmap that's provided hundreds of owners just like you the liberation from the chaos they're looking for. We offer a powerful one-on-one coaching experience. It gives you the right amount of push, not too much, not too little, with encouragement and insight to take the step you've been needing to take and just punch chaos in the mouth. And that more than pays for itself over the lifetime of your coaching relationship. It's a powerful coaching experience that connects you to a community of peer owners around the country where we provide live in-person events, virtual training similar to this, twice monthly group coaching so you can hear and see what others are doing, 24/7 access to our game-changing online roadmap for you and your entire team, and of course, preset one-on-one coaching meetings with your dedicated coach. Now, we know you got lots of questions, and so we're doubling down. We don't mess around, and we've asked some of our coaches to update their blocked weekly schedule to be able to meet with you for some specific scheduled coaching calls with you guys. And so if you're having trouble to find some of this time to do this on your own, we've built a coaching roadmap and trained our world-class coaches to walk through this with you. And so as a thank you for being a part of this masterclass, we're making 12 spots available for a coaching session with one of our coaches. Now, to raise the stakes, we're going to throw skin in the game, and we'll expect you to do likewise. Now, only for this masterclass, I'm asking you to set up an exclusive one-on-one follow-up coaching session with one of our coaches that's specific to your business. And I guarantee you, I promise you, we will over-deliver on our value. And like I said, the cost to you, $99. That's it. We clearly make no money on this, right? And a friend of ours, Dan Miller, told us, if you're not paying attention. We would offer it to you free, but we know we will get your full attention if you pay something for it. And so it's not a gimmick. It is a real live personalized coaching call for you to draw value from. You'll walk away with clarity on one of the 4 templates that'll help you write a vision or build a weekly schedule or build a delegation roadmap or maybe even create a powerful culture calendar. We've made it so easy for you. Our hope is that we can have a coaching relationship with you and lead you to a point where you, like so many of our clients, TJ, Chris, Justin, Maria, so many others, are liberated from the chaos of working in their businesses. Either way, we will over-deliver and you will leave with so much value. Now, you can continue paying the price of chaos, right? All the stuff that we crinkled up, missing the things in life that matters, or you can pay the price of freedom and putting in the work up front, because it takes work to make time for the things that matter. It's your choice. Take the next step right now and choose to punch chaos in the mouth. Now, if you'd like to be one of those 12 business owners to take advantage of a no strings attached, we're not going to bait and switch anything there. But we would just ask that you would you would click on the link in the chat window right now. We're going to throw that in here for you real quick. There's going to be more than 12 options you'll see, but as soon as 12 sign up, we're going to cut it off. And so stop allowing the chaos to waste your years and the years of those you love. You know, I told this story to somebody the other day, but we were playing in a golf tournament recently with a couple of our clients. Both of them have twin kids. Both are in the midst of enduring really hard family challenges. One, just navigating a tough divorce, and the other just having a tough time. His wife passed away and his 5-year-old twin's mother passed away, and just dealing and figuring out how to work through all that in the midst of trying to run a business. That is real life. And if their business were dominating them, there would be no time to focus on the things that mattered. But no, they built the systems and processes to be above the chaos so that they can deal with life as it happens. So instead, they've made the time to navigate through the important things by deciding to not allow chaos to rule their life. And what happens to the business if something happens to you? It's the question we always ask our business owners. And it's a little bit of a scary question, right? What happens to the business if something happens to you? Make a choice, do something better, and let's get you signed up for a coaching call with one of our world-class coaches. Go grab a slot right now. It's right there in the chat window. You can follow that right there. So, hey, I'm going to move into a time of Q&A real quick. And so if y'all want to cut your cameras on, I would love to answer any questions you have, or if you're willing to stick around. We're like 2 minutes away. I did good on my time today. So feel free to throw them in the chat window if you want, or come off mute and just ask a simple question. And we got several coaches on here that would be happy to answer them for you. So go away or fire away if you got them. Right. We answered all of your questions. I love it. Absolutely love it.
I'm not gonna let you off that easy, Thomas.
Yeah, there it is. What's up, Mark?
So I use the similar template that you showed us. Got it from working with Patrice. We use it for our Monday morning kickoffs, and it's great.
Sweet.
We just love it. And then we do a Friday kind of not end of the day, but it's around 3 o'clock. So we can kind of recap what our action item lists were and kind of keep each other, on task and ready for the next Monday's call. Outside of those two, is there too many meetings, would you say?
Yeah, I do think there can be too many meetings, especially if everyone is involved, One thing I have started pushing several of my clients to do is find some like daily huddle time that you can actually have. I don't know how you guys are structured, but if you have any middle level management to be able to say, hey, take your separate teams or kind of your areas of responsibility and do some kind of morning, if it's a 5-minute huddle of, hey, here's our focus today. Here's what we're diving in on. But I do think you can be meeting to death. You know what I mean? There's somebody wrote a book about that recently called like Meeting to Death. And so that's where I would say when you have that determined cost of your meetings to be able to figure out, all right, who exactly needs to be in these to make sure that they're worth the cost to the business. And it's not just a waste of time where we're just sitting around kicking around stuff. But I think that is just a balance that each business has to find. And some of that depends on just how many people are in the business, you know what I mean? And kind of how far ranging you guys are. If you're rubbing elbows all day, you may not need to meet as much. But if everybody's working from home and you got 6 different locations and, people all across the globe, then it's probably worth it to set a few more meetings in there just to make sure you have clarity and direction on a lot of that stuff.
Sure. Thanks.
That's a great question, man. Great question. Let's see. Any other questions out there? Not seeing any in the Slack. Anthony, I appreciate the compliment, man. That's super kind. Appreciate that, man. All right, let's see. Treasurer's office has separate team meetings. So operations, accounting, and data. Separate senior leadership meetings, separate junior leadership meetings. Tanya, that is awesome stuff. Yeah, I know that's something that Scott has worked with you guys to really build out, and it's really, really powerful. So awesome stuff there. Any other questions, guys? We are here. So please feel free to throw them out there if we can help with any of them. Awesome. All right. Well, hey guys, thank y'all so much for diving in. I really hope some of you guys took the opportunity to sign up for a call. We would love to walk alongside you guys and dive in. So with that, I will sign off. Thank you guys so much. And have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, all that good stuff. And we'll see you guys at our next masterclass.